Well, hello and welcome to podcast episode number 6. And this one is on human needs and exploring our behavior. And I'm so excited for this one. It keeps coming up with my clients. It came up in our VIP calls. We talked about it at the half day workshop and it just keeps coming up. So I really want to explore it. And where it comes out most is where people say, how come I make this decision that I'm going to do A, B, and C, and then I don't do it? So how come I decide to go on a health kick and then the next day I'm eating a packet of Tim Tams? And why is it that I've said that I'm going to go, on do this, exercise, and then the next day I'm just on the couch? Like, why is that? And I'm here to tell you it's really, really easy to understand. And once you understand, it's an absolute game changer. It was for me. It's changed my life without a doubt, changed many, many lives, thousands and probably even more, millions of lives. And it is about Tony Robbins's work around the 6 human needs. And there's lots of different podcasts and TED Talks and resources you can look up to get a really deep dive into this. But I just want to share with you my experience and my understanding of the 6 human needs and how I apply it with the work that I do and in my own personal evolution and those I help evolve, just so it can really serve you as well. So let's just take a deep dive into this. It was really funny where I was working with my clients and they just brought up we're in an open coaching session. I said, okay, we've got 10 minutes left. Let's really maximize this time. Does anyone have something that they want to just work through or discuss? And, one of my clients said, why is it that I just commit to this week, I'm not having a glass of wine, and then the next night I find myself pouring a glass of wine, even like unknowingly, and then I'm drinking it going, what am I doing? I wasn't going to drink tonight. And it was interesting because I had an opportunity to share with them a live example. I said, well, that's really interesting. I used to do that too. And what we uncover is we understand what is the need that we are meeting when we were pouring the wine. Okay. And so for me, I know that pouring the wine met my need for certainty. So I used to do it when I was coming home from a really crazy day at work, or I'm at the house and the kids are going a little bit random and it's just witching hour, as people call it. And the pouring the glass of wine was just certainty for me. And what it is, it's actually just a pause in the day where you pour the glass of wine, you have that sip, and in that moment, everything is still, you have the certainty, you have that reward response in your brain that's like, okay. And everything just goes down a notch. And that really is certainty when we unpack it. So what we can do then is understand, well, okay, is that glass of wine meeting my needs? Yes. Is it helping me achieve my goals, or is it hindering those? And then we can start to look at more resourceful ways to meet that need for certainty. So what we can do is just work through the needs and unlock them and understand them. And it gives us just so much more freedom and really empowers us around our choice. So I'm going to dig a little deeper with that today in today's episode. And for those of you that are watching on YouTube, there is a PowerPoint presentation where you can see all the slides and dig a little deeper. If you are listening on the podcast, I invite you to pop in and take a look, and just have a look at the link in the show notes and you'll be able to go and have a look there. So for those watching at home, I'm just going to share my screen with you. So welcome to the podcast, and we're going to be talking about understanding behavior, as I said. So as we go through this episode, I really invite you to explore how you are meeting your human needs without judgment. Please just explore your needs. Observe and notice. Just simply observe and notice. Look for patterns. If you're seeing any patterns, often that is where the gold is. And just think about what could be more resourceful. If you're identifying ways where you're thinking, oh, crumbs, I do that, that's okay. We're meeting our needs, and we all meet our needs either resourcefully or unresourcefully, and all of the things that we do are okay. But if we do want to grow and evolve and live more fulfilled lives, we can start making choices to meet our needs that are more resourceful. So I'm just inviting you, explore without judgment, just observe and notice, look for patterns, and think about what is more helpful. So the 6 human needs is, I think, one of the most pivotal pieces of work by Tony Robbins. And we are all constantly seeking to meet our 6 human needs. And we tend as humans to focus on 2. So there's 4 needs of personality, and they are certainty, and the opposite to that is variety. So certainty is knowing what's coming up, not really looking for change, and really knowing what's coming up, being comfortable with that, security, those kind of things. And variety is where we love adventure, we love to mix it up. And so there's a paradox between the two. And then there's also our need for connection and love, and also significance. There's also 2 needs of the spirit: growth and contribution. And we can look at all of these needs in terms of meeting them resourcefully or unresourcefully. And I'm going to unpack all that for you now and give you some really cool examples. So core needs. So when we look at our certainty, if we're going to meet our need for certainty resourcefully, we could do that in ways of like cleaning, decluttering, having morning rituals, backing yourself, allowing yourself time to deal with problems and really think things through. Unresourceful ways of meeting certainty would be, say, overeating, getting control over others, watching hours of TV instead of going and living your life because you know what's going to happen. Anything that's obsessive, compulsive, procrastination, they're really unresourceful ways to meet certainty. So let's look at the opposite, variety or uncertainty. So we can meet that resourcefully by seeking out new challenges, looking to grow, embracing adventure, trying on different hobbies. When you're going out, trying new foods, maybe you might walk into a place where there's lots of people that you don't know and just going, okay, I'm just going to sit at that table, as opposed to choosing a group that you do know. So that's one resort. There are a number of resourceful ways you can bring uncertainty or variety into your life. So unresourceful ways for that would be overwhelm, drug taking, intoxication, flicking through the TV channels, the surfing, trolling on the intranet, and creating drama or problems for ourselves. So I know that my need for certainty was extremely high. And so I would have a very rigid schedule and routine and live in structure and order and all those kinds of things. And that would play along for a while. And then it'd get to a point where I would have this massive blowout. So I would be out, getting intoxicated, dancing, all this behavior that is not aligned with my values in any way, shape, or form as a Christian woman. But I did it because I had a need for uncertainty and I didn't know how to meet it resourcefully. And I didn't even know that I wasn't meeting that need until I stopped and reflected on it. Why do I randomly do this from time to time? It's because my level of certainty was so high. I needed to mix it up. So then I tried new things. I tried cooking new foods. I went on more trips, more adventures, and then I didn't really have that need to blow out with uncertainty. So it's just such a cool map to unlock. So let's look at significance. So if you're going to meet your need for significance resourcefully, you would be being a leader in yourself and the way you conduct yourself, leading others. You might be volunteering. You might be working to achieve a goal to inspire others. You might be focused on mastering something in your life. But unresourceful ways of being significant, is to put other people down, or be promiscuous, or gossip, or play the victim or the martyr, or totally rebel. So that's unresourceful ways. And let's look at connection and love. So we can meet our need for connection and love through our faith, through self-love, nurturing your self-worth, honoring your truth, having unconditional love, having interdependent relationships, sharing and supporting others. And then if we look at unresourceful ways, we can be really needy, we can have self-harm, we can have unhealthy relationships, connection through problems, use of drugs. If you don't love me, then I'll do this. All those kind of like narcissistic behaviors, really unresourceful ways to meet connection in love. And then we move into our spiritual needs. So we have growth. So when we're meeting our lifelong needs, and when we're looking at mastery and learning to teach, they're all ways to growth really resourcefully. Or if we look at unresourceful ways, gathering information, just searching and not actually applying anything. So a lot of people say, well, I'll do that when I've read this and done this and understood all of it, and then I'll take the next step. So that's an unresourceful way to grow. So we're getting all this information, but we're not actually applying it or growing it. You can hear some of my clients saying, well, I'm one of those people that never finish anything. And I'm like, well, that's an old story, and let's get a more resourceful one for you starting right now. And then the last spiritual need is contribution. So resourceful ways to do that is paying it forward, donating to charity, volunteering, helping people, doing things for others. And then an unresourceful way is giving without learning how to take care of self, giving things solely to receive. They're unresourceful ways to meet contribution. So once we understand the 6 core human needs and resourceful ways or unresourceful ways to meet them, we then get into the power of choice and we become empowered. So we know we have the needs. We all have these needs and we're all going to meet our needs. But if we can do that more resourcefully, it's so much more powerful and in alignment with, the type of life that we want to live. So when we're looking at our the order of the needs, so the first need is certainty, and then we have variety, and then we have connection and love, then growth and contribution. So it's interesting to know that you must meet your spiritual needs to experience sustainable joy instead of momentary pleasure. And this was a game changer for me. So when I explored my core needs and the two needs that I was meeting most, it was certainty and connection. So I was meeting my need for certainty through structure and routine and process and those kind of things, and also connection around giving. So I was connecting with people, giving so much of my time. And so when I realized that I was driven by really high levels of certainty and also connection by giving, I was not allowing any time for myself, for spontaneity, for my own self-love, for my own self-growth. I wasn't filling up my own cup. And I actually ended up so exhausted. And when I understood that by focusing on my spiritual needs or changing my core needs as a priority, things could actually shift for me, and they have, and my life has changed significantly. And I'm indebted to those 4 days that I spent with Tony Robbins, well, days and nights, and the learning that I've had, that I can actually share that with you as well. So let's take a deeper look just at that part. So like I explored my core needs, I have got some guiding questions here, which is part of Tony Robbins's work, and I invite you to do the same so we can take action today. So this is a resourceful way to move forward. So how can we leverage what we've learned in this episode? So I invite you to explore the ways you meet each need that are both resourceful and unresourceful. So just take out a piece of paper. If you love a spreadsheet, I don't really know. It can be on the back of a serviette. It doesn't really matter. Just explore the ways that you meet the 6 core needs resourcefully and unresourcefully. And look, if you are one of my followers or one of my clients or are in our group, Leading with Passion, you'll actually get the PDFs to support this. So it'll be a worksheet for you to go through. So pop on the link, or if you're on YouTube, you'll be able to use the QR code at the end. And if you are listening on the podcast, just have a look in the link in the show notes and it'll take you to the group and you'll be able to get the PDF. So let me take it through you verbally now or visually. So I'd like you to, or invite you to, explore the ways you meet each need that are both resourceful and unresourceful. Then, of the 6 human needs, which have you been valuing most? Very key here. Are there any consequences of valuing these needs in that order? So for me, I was just exhausted and I was giving, from an empty tank. I really needed to fill up my own cup first. And what do your top 2 needs need to be to truly evolve? What are they? What are your new 2 focus needs that you're going to focus on? And if you made that change, what would transform in your life? I'd like you to explore that. You could journal it or just simply ask that question or command your subconscious to give you the answer. Dear subconscious, I'd like you to answer this honestly and truthfully right now. If I made that change around my top 2 needs, what would transform in my life? And see what comes out. And I assure you, if you do the work and you explore it, you will have a new level of understanding. It's so valuable. Even if you've done this work before, it's so valuable to reflect and take a look at that. So I do truly hope that the 6 human needs has given you a little insight into how you can increase your choice around the behavior that you would like to stay in line with and living a more fulfilled life. If you're on YouTube here, I recommend that you just scan the QR code if you want to stay connected. If you're listening to the podcast, I recommend you just take a look at jump on the link and you can connect with the Leading with Passion group to grab the templates from today. Take care, God bless, and all the best for a great day. See you later.